But they came to me and they asked me, they said, you have everything that is good for it. The crowds of people love you and they love your gift of prophecy. The only thing that you have to do is just keep them happy, have them shout and sweat, and just preach to them the gospel. Don't be talking any of the stuff that would awaken them. Keep the blinders on them. That's what these megachurches do. Keep the blinders over their eyes. Keep the blinders over their eyes. And I had to make a decision if I wanted to be a slave in Pharaoh's chariot, or if I wanted to be a Moses to free the people from Pharaoh. And I thought about it hard and long. I weighed the cons with the pros and the pros with the cons. And I realized that I could not preach a lie because I would be damned by that same lie. Oh, God. And so I decided, and I said, I'm not doing it. And when I decided that I was not doing it, they said, we're going to kick you out. You're not welcomed here on these platforms. You are not welcome here because you do not want to teach the messages to keep us in control. You see, and some of you, when you get awakened to these higher teachings, you see, when you get awakened to these stuff that I'm teaching, the stuff that I'm teaching you, oh yeah, it was a big mega church. I think they had about maybe 20,000 members. They wanted me to follow the same thing, the same thing. I would have been sitting up there and doing the same stuff and coming on the Sunday and had the good organ and getting the people high and preaching the lie. You see, you get them high and you give them the lie. You tell them to cast their care on some savior outside of themselves. You keep on pointing to them that way so that they are content with their 9 to 5 and content being a slave and content being controlled. It had about 20,000 people, I think the membership was. And I decided not, and there's a person in there that decided to take it over and preach there, and I'm not going to call out their name. Because some of you follow these fools. And that's what they teach you. They do not teach you the Father within. They teach you about this Father on the outside, which is a deity. He is a fallen God. They do not teach to you about the divine God, for the Father within. Now let's go further. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Now, we must understand that there are 5 channels that I teach, 5 channels that the divine mind expresses itself through. There are 5. They teach about the 5 senses, but there are really 5 expressions of the channels that the divine mind operates through, and we must awaken it through. You have what is known as the conscious volitional mind. This deals with the objective mind, which is naturally knows that there is a higher force. That's why even an atheist, sometimes I understand the atheist because sometimes the atheists are in tune in a way that they don't realize that they're in tune. They know that there's some garbage being preached in the dogmatic stuff, and so they can't get with it. They can't get with it because they know that it's some garbage. They say, wait a second, this doesn't smell right. I can't believe like this. This is some dumb mess. because they understand that the dogmatics are teaching something that is completely off. Even though they're a little off too, they say, I don't want to be as off as what's going on with the dogmatics. So I'm just going to leave it alone and just say I don't believe in no God. But when we talk about the 5 channels, you have, number 1, the conscious volitional mind. The conscious volitional mind is the objective mind. It represents the conscious or the carnal mind, which naturally knows that there is a higher power. So this is why you will hear an atheist say they cannot deny that there is an intelligence that exists. They'll say, I don't believe in God, but I believe that there is some type of superior intelligence. They don't realize that that superior intelligence they're referring to is the divine, cosmic, divine mind, or the Father, or what is known as the Christ mind. They don't know that they're actually saying, they're actually confessing it, but they just don't have the words to say. So they say, I don't believe in a God, but I believe that there is some type of intelligence. Because you cannot deny that there is an intelligent force that is operating all around us. In my school of the prophets, I teach you how to tap into that divine intelligent force. So you have what is known as the conscious volitional mind. That conscious volitional mind represents the objective mind when we're awake. And it knows, somewhere in their deep knowing, the conscious mind knows. It knows that there is a higher force at play. It doesn't understand it, doesn't know how it works, but it has an intelligence that it knows that there is a higher force that is at play. It operates through the instinctual nature and can be trained to operate from the higher faculties of the intellectual nature. Then you have another channel known as the sense perception. This deals with the sensual nature, or what is known as our ability to understand the objectified or the material world, the sensual aspect of our self. This is another channel. Then you have what is known as the intuitive facility. This is known or seen in the Bible as the gifts of the Spirit. Then you have what is known as the soul perception. This gives us the ability of having self-awareness or self-reflection. It is through our self-reflection that we're able to reflect the divine nature and to see Him. This is known as our self-image, because God only appears to us the way how we see ourselves. Then you have number 5, what is known as the cosmic or racial memory. I'm going to talk a little bit more about one of them, just one. At my School of the Prophets, I will go deeper in didactically and pedagogically understanding this stuff for you guys to understand it. Now, when we understand the subconscious mind, I was saying something before I think people started choking. I was saying that the subconscious mind is known as the heart, and in the heart it connects. People do not realize this, but the heart has neurons. Science does not understand why the heart has neurons, but the heart has neurons. It has what is known as these brain activity that operates. But this brain activity becomes a receiver to the higher mind, not the ego, not the lower mind. And so it is with the heart that we awaken the Christ mind. As the heart becomes purified or goes through what it's known as its decalcification process. In alchemy, we call it, or the installation. The heart begins to become pure, and as the heart becomes pure, it is able to see the divine spark within ourselves. This is the mystery of the word, saying, they that are pure in heart shall see me. They that have purified the subjectified state or the subconscious mind will be able to trigger or be able to see the divine spark within them, and will be able to see it within others. Not only will they be able to see it within themselves and see it within others, but they will be able to trigger others. This is the mystery of when Jesus does miracles. He says, woman, your faith has made you whole. His divine spark triggered their cosmic or racial memory to cause that healing. And he says, woman, your faith has made you whole. Notice that the Christ never takes glory for it. Matter of fact, he says, I can do nothing. He says, I can do nothing lest it is the Father that worketh within me. Every miracle that he does, he points the person back to their own subjective or their own subconscious that allowed them to do that miracle. When he goes into his hometown, he could not do great miracles because they were with people that had small or was unable to get into a subjective state of receiving from him because they knew him as a child. So because they had familiarity on a subjective level, they were not in a receptive level to receive the miracles. This goes back. If he is so powerful and so strong, why would he not be able to do miracles in his hometown? It is because the divine nature within themselves restricted it. Remember, the divine mind only operates at the level that you allow it to operate. It will never force itself. It is gentle. Remember the fruit. It is never harmful. It is love. Remember the fruit. It is never forceful. It is self-control. Remember the fruit. Now, when we understand our passion or dealing with our inner child, I teach this, and I gave some of you guys homework to do. And part of your homework was to rekindle some of your passion where you can get into a flow state. Now let's talk a little more about why it's important to stay and to occupy these flow states that are very healthy for you. In these flow states, joy, love, peace, long-suffering, temperance are automatically accessed there. When you're doing what you love, you're accessing this flow state. And if you're able to learn how it feels and to practice it, you now are learning how to get into the meditative state. That's the secret of meditating upon the law. When we talk about the subjective mind or the subconscious mind, which is known in the Bible as the child, it is also seen as the child. You cannot enter in unless if you come in like a child. The subconscious mind or the child, or in some texts it is also known as the heart, it carries what is known as cosmic memory and racial memory. It is the storehouse of the cells and the chemical activity and the chemical memories of all living things. So everything that is in the earth, the body is able to produce it. Copper is in the earth, the body is able to produce copper. Magnesium is in the earth, the body is able to create magnesium. All of these things, the body is able to create. The body is doing its own form of alchemical alchemy, taking chemicals and turning them into different things. You drink water, your body excretes a different type of chemical. Your body is constantly operating from that, and it has this intelligence or this memory that exists from the higher mind. I'm saying this because I want you guys to understand. The Bible makes reference to this where it says, does the birds of the field or does the birds of the air worry what they're going to eat tomorrow? It starts talking about the animal kingdom and how the animal kingdom and all things in nature have access to this higher intelligence. Who teaches the cat how to hunt? It is a natural ability that comes from the higher nature of that species intelligence.